Charity, kindness, and empathy used to be a universal American quality. No other nation on earth has given more, inspired more, and sacrificed more to ease the myriad sufferings of our imperfect world. But as the left wing divorces itself from our American foundations, the Constitution, justice, and the rule of law, I find that they are, well, leaving America's inherent goodness behind too. Many of them mistake conservatives in our higher calling for weakness, but they would be foolish to do so. Conservatism, superior in every way. That's my analysis in today's preamble. Despite all that he's done to knife conservatives in the back, despite all the wanton destruction of our governmental and societal norms that he sat idly by and allowed to happen unchallenged, those betrayals seem to melt away after I saw this from Mitch McConnell yesterday.
This week has been good bipartisan cooperation and a string of
Wait a minute. Are you good? Mitch?
Okay, Mitch.
He's checking.
Anything else you want to say, or should we just go back to your office? Do you want to say anything else to the press?
I first saw that soundbite with all of you yesterday. My reaction was to say, tragic, and it is. After all that McConnell has done to us, from his alleged efforts against the Founding Fathers' Article 5 Convention of States, his pro-China bent, from his needlessly enabling and funding the Democrats' destructive spending priorities to his betrayal of the party planks he claims to represent, I still couldn't muster anything but pity and prayer for Mitch McConnell. There was a lot going on in that soundbite. It was a stark reminder to all of us that at the end of the day, the ravages of old age come for us all. And for all of McConnell's power, his scheming and undermining of the conservative movement, he's just a man. And what a tender moment that was from Senator John Barrasso as he leaned in, he placed his hand on McConnell's arm, trying to smooth over as best he could a most awkward and intimate moment, a moment that most human beings share in private, surrounded by friends and family. The compassion we saw from those senators towards their leader was, well, it was a credit to all of them. Still, I couldn't help but wonder how so many of the GOP senators have become so detached that they can't muster that same kind of empathy for their own voters. We, the people of this blessed land who trusted them. We trusted them to protect us from the plague of collectivism. We trusted them to safeguard our constitutional liberties. And at every turn, too many of them have betrayed that trust. I mentioned that caller on my radio show. After I gave my reaction to the McConnell episode, he summed up what conservatives and what real Americans are probably thinking. He said, where he could empathize with what McConnell was going through, his thoughts were of our people. He felt more sorry for the millions of Americans who have suffered under the weight of a corrupt and selfish ruling class, a ruling class that is supposed to be a governing class. And that ruling class exposes the not so tender, the other side of the tragedy coin that McConnell incident exposes, holding on to power, no matter the cost. The Democrats, in a shameless display, brought back Dianne Feinstein, a California Democrat senator. It's been an open secret in Washington that Feinstein has been afflicted with cognitive challenges for months, perhaps years. It's so bad that Senator Feinstein was unaware that she had announced her own retirement. Now, this raises serious questions. Who's actually casting votes and representing California? Who is making life or death decisions if the person who was elected isn't? Now, some dude calls himself Brooklyn Dad, a self-identified left-winger, said this on Twitter, comparing the McConnell incident and the repeated missteps of Senator Fetterman. He writes, quote, I'll tell you this, none of us like Mitch McConnell because of the horrible things he's said and done as senator. But he had a medical incident today, and I saw a lot of well-wishers on our side, as it should be. But when Senator John Fetterman had a medical episode, there were legions of Republicans who made fun and mocked him. We are not the same, end quote. Well, let me agree with that leftist. We are not the same. But the Democrats hardly have taken the high road here. As always, the left-winger there is comparing apples and oranges in a stunning lack of dishonesty, a stunning lack of honesty, and it's just breathtaking. If Mitch McConnell were to run for office after yesterday's episode, clearly showing signs that it would be national suicide to entrust our safety to a functional incompetent, then Mitch and the GOP would deserve the mockery that Fetterman has received. Fetterman was afflicted during the campaign. He was clearly ill-equipped to make consequential decisions for the people of Pennsylvania and the United States. But because Democrats feel they're entitled to power, his campaign marched right on. His condition clearly declining as his term began. Here he is just last month, struggling to finish a sentence while introducing, ironically, Joe Biden.
He is here to commit to work with the governor and the delegation to make sure that we get this fixed quick, fast as well, too. This is a president that is committed to infrastructure. Yeah, and then on top of that, the dual kind of a law of the inflation bill.
Feeling sympathy for a politician who is afflicted with a malady after he or she is elected, that's natural. It's a human response, a very American emotion. Claiming that a debilitating malady that prevents a politician from doing his or her job should be no impediment to the Democrats' acquisition of power, well, that notion is sick and twisted. And that leads us to the biggest unqualified affliction on this nation, the big guy, Joe Biden.
We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Yeah.
Barack and I think it's a right for people to have bad health care. I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
The way China will respond is when we gather the rest of the world that, in fact, believes in open trade and making sure that we're in a position.
Here's the lives. When you think about it, more lives this year than any other year for the past 100 years.
And we brought Israelis and Palestinians together at a political level, and Aqaba and as well as Shram. Yes. And
Joe Biden is the ultimate expression of those who believe they are entitled to power despite the risks to human life and the country. Joe Biden has been struggling with a lack of mental acuity from the campaign into his time in the Oval Office. Joe Biden is a walking, mumbling testament to the fall of the United States and our representative republic. And the world is noticing.
Let's dive into this week's edition of What in God's Name is Joe Biden trying to say?
Know the little expression, time is money. As one computer said, if you're on the train and they say Portal Bridge, you know you better make other plans.
Let's go over what he just said there. Let's just not ignore that. Let's go over it. As one computer said, if you're on the train and they say Portal Bridge, you know you better make other plans. I've got nothing. This man needs a retirement home and a warm bowl of soup, not access to the nuclear codes.
True enough. The late, great Charlton Heston said, quote, "I'll give you my gun when you pry it from my cold, dead hands," end quote. Heston knew and understood that the right of self-defense was crucial to being free. Our Washington elites, they have a different slogan, quote, "I'll give up my power over you when you pry it from my cold, dead hands, no matter how many lives it may cost," end quote. The level to which the ruling class is addicted to their power should be of concern to all of us. From the FBI to the DOJ, from the GOP to the Democrat Party, far too many see their attaining and keeping power as a means to attain massive wealth, as a means to protect themselves from accountability for the horrific things they will do or have done, or simply because power is an intoxicating high for them. Either way, the pursuit of power for power's sake always leaves behind those who really count, we, the people. We should do all we can to make sure the founders' vision of shared and diversified power is restored. And when it's all said and done, folks, our people ought to have the lion's share of that power. It's the only way to defeat the ruling class, the only way to save America as we know it.